Hey everyone, this is Jeff. This is the next video in the basics of After Effects text. This is a video on putting and animating text on a path. So we have this little section here. And now what I'm going to do is add another element. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a layer of text that follows a path, something that um, kind of follows up after this last text zoom appears. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and start. Create a new text layer. Again, two-finger click or right-click to create a new text layer. And I'm just going to do it read it. And I'm going to repeat that. Copy, paste, space, paste, space, paste, space, paste. Okay, so I've got plenty. Now, and I'm also going to put this at the bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and while I have this selected, I'm going to go ahead and create a circle. Now, a circle usually just creates a mask every time you have like any sort of shape tool. When you're selecting on an existing layer will just become a mask, and that's a good start, but we're going to do something else with it. So I'm going to hold down Shift and Option, and Shift and Command, and that will make it lock it to circle and draw from the center. So I'm going to say about there. I'm going to move it down a little bit so it's centered. Okay, so right now it's just functioning like a mask, which we've done before, and it doesn't look very good. But a great thing about, again, the text function is you have all these additional options here. And one is path options. And here the path currently says none, but if I set it to mask 1, it's going to set the text onto the particular path. And you'll have some settings. Like, for example, reverse path will put it on the outside versus the inside. Perpendicular path will make it right side up, which doesn't look very good for this one, but maybe you'll find a way. Force alignment will force it to go all the way to the end. And first margin basically is allowing you, it adjusts it's hard to see because it adjusts it from the beginning of where it starts. And last margin adjusts from the end. You're kind of getting the same results with this particular thing, but in a more complex shape or with more complex text, you might want to be able to select one or the other. So while this is here, we can do lots of other things. Remember, we can still animate and add things like, let's animate some tracking. So I'm going to have this. Well, let's go ahead and have this start kind of after the text has zoomed in. So it's going to just pop in. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust the tracking. I like the tracking is fine where it is, but I just wanted to animate it. So first what I'm going to do is going to adjust the tracking to kind of where I want it, and then I will animate it. So first, I'm going to adjust this tracking so it fills the majority of this. It's giving me a similar effect to force alignment, but I'm going to be able to animate this, I think, a little better. And so now that I've got the tracking where I want it, I can go down here to tracking amount. I'm going to add a keyframe. I'm going to go over here, make it a quick little animation. I'll add a second keyframe, and I'm going to go back to that first keyframe and shrink that tracking down to as small as I can. And so what that's going to do is not animate it so it expands. This is a big thing of text. Read it, read it, read it. Now I can continue once it has gone all the way up. I can continue to play with animations on the margins. There's the first margin. And on the second one, I can make it go. Then I think we'd get something like this. So now that's just kind of me playing around, but just letting you know there's some other ways you could do it too. I can go ahead and select this layer, and I could make a new path. I'm going to use the pen tool this time, and I'm going to click and draw, click and draw. And so now, as usual, when you have a layer selected and you start drawing paths, I now have multiple masks. I have mask 1 and mask 2. Mask 2 is the line. So I can also change this path to mask 2. So I could basically have it be on a line. Now, of course, I'd want to reverse it so it can be red. So there you go. That's how you make text animate on a path.